the director and star of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust here?
Two more.
Yeah,
Yes, yes,
two.
Yes,
you do.
All filmmakers, please come to the front for a Q&A. I'm Fred Topel with Crave Online and NukeTheFridge.com. Thank you all for staying late at Screamfest. Woo!
Yes.
Hello. So my first question was, the runner on the set of your film really efficient and on the ball and took care of things right away?
We had a couple of runners on set, and they all did a much better job than Wesley did on the film. So yes, I would say 100%.
In the wake of the success of Shaun of the Dead, The Walking Dead, is it a lot easier to get a zombie film made now?
Well, it's kind of interesting because we actually started this film before the first season of The Walking Dead had come out. So, the script was written before that stage, but, zombies were very popular with Shaun of the Dead. I'm not sure if it was easier or not. Where we come from, the Film Commission provides money, which is sort of a government-funded body, and they really like this idea of zombies attacking a zombie film set, and I think they were looking to do, we do often very serious films in New Zealand, very sort of stoic dramas that are quite sort of harrowing and depressing, and they wanted to sort of try a few genre films, so I think that was probably one of the reasons why.
This can be for anyone involved with the film. Did any of the on-set shenanigans resemble anything you've ever experienced on a real film set?
Anybody? Anybody at all?
Yeah.
It's the time I got turned into a zombie on a film set. Yeah. No, I don't know. Ideas?
Difficult producers, difficult talent.
I was the most difficult on set. No, I don't know. I did get shot in the face with a big cannon full of tomatoes, and it smashed me right in the face. So that was almost real gore on set. But luckily it didn't hurt me too badly.
I will say that the character, the director, SMP, at the time that I wrote him, he's sort of very over the top, and why can't I get this film made? Everything's going wrong for me. As he said, the world is conspiring to stop me from making this film. And the film took so long for us to finish that, what started as almost, like a joke, I became SMP and kind of losing my mind. It's sort of, I would say that I became a lot more like the director over the period of time it took to complete the film.
Well, I have to say, you may be the sexiest zombie I've ever seen. How did you work with the makeup team to decide how decomposed and decrepit you might be? And
I think actually, weirdly enough, I have a lot more makeup on than you can see, especially body makeup. You can't really tell so much in the shooting, but I spent 5 hours in full body makeup with veins and bites and everything all over me. So I don't know, I think they had that pretty figured out before I went on set, how zombified they wanted me.
It needed to stay reasonably sexy zombified, not too gory.
That worked. That worked.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fine line because obviously we didn't want it to be so decayed that Adam, the body, wouldn't still find her attractive and wouldn't still sort of believe that this was still a woman that he was wanting to sleep with him. And so it was kind of, a very fine balance between, sort of obviously being very obviously a zombie to everyone else and maybe not so much to him.
Are there any questions from the audience?
Oh, shit.
That's all right. That's what I'm here for. Do you have any distribution for this film, and any plans? When can other people see the film?
We do not have distribution at the moment. We're sort of speaking with distributors and sales agent at the moment, but we sort of haven't got any deals in place currently.
Well, hopefully after this screening, a lot more people will hear about it. What were just some of the basic difficulties of getting this film produced? You know, on the day, you had a lot of elements, makeup, a lot of extras and actors.
Yeah, well, I think obviously the amount of zombies and sort of just doing the makeup for all of them and then sort of directing them within the scene. I would say that, you know, sort of just dealing with that and trying to, you know, create a sort of on-set environment was tricky. And then I would say also, you know, we had a lot of problems with special effects and special effects sort of going wrong on the day and stuff like that. So I would say, you know, it all comes back to sort of, you know, because it was a very low budget, you know, I think that was really the key thing is when you don't have a big budget and you're trying to, you know, do something with a bit of scope, you're constantly, you know, battling your budget every day. And so that was sort of, I think the difficulty, you know, the main difficulty for us is that we were always just, you know, fighting to sort of stay ahead of what the budget constraints were trying to sort of put on us.
We didn't really reject locations.
We didn't reject any like locations because they were difficult. So we we shot in a swamp in the middle of the winter. We shot in the middle of a forest, and it was like kind of just, as you can see, it was like kind of a swampland. So it was, yeah. So we kind of made it hard for ourselves, but it was kind of worth it for the way it looked and everything.
John was the director of photography. It's Jon Wilson. You did good, huh? One of the difficulties we had actually was, given the low budget, we weren't paying any of the extras. None of them got paid, and so you'd start off the night with, say, you know, 150 or 200 extras, and then you know, a few hours in, suddenly you had 50. You know, and you sort of had to make it look like you still had 100 or 150, and it was because they would sneak off. You know, and that was completely understandable because it was freezing cold. New Zealand's down by Antarctica, and we were filming at the bottom of the South Island, so it was very cold. We weren't paying them, and so, you know, halfway through the night we had no more extras.
You know, I would always say, like, what would happen is about lunchtime, they would all disappear. But it just so happened we'd always be shooting our more complicated scenes, requiring them after lunch. And so it'd always be, you know, sort of telling Andy, just stop them from going, just do anything. Like, can we set up some barriers so they just don't wander off? But yeah, that was very tricky.
Well, how did it feel for all of you to see the film with an audience tonight?
It was really cool. It was really wonderful. You know, it's always great when people were digging the film and appreciating and laughing in the right places, and this was a great audience.
Well, for everyone, for the actors, to see people react to your work and to see people react to your shots.
Oh, well, I really liked it. You know, I mean, there's only 30 people here, but it's the right 30, right? Thank you very much. We appreciate that. No, it's really cool. It's great to see it up on the big screen and see people laughing, and you know, that's why we do it, really, isn't it?
I think too it was cool because it's all mostly Kiwi humour, and it was cool to see Americans laughing a lot, which was awesome because we didn't know if it would take that long.
Yeah, absolutely.
Americans, that was cool.
But for me, this is the first time I've actually seen it projected. So I was very, very, very nervous all the way through, but happy by the end.
Has it played in New Zealand before?
We had a premiere. We had like
We had a premiere in our hometown, Dunedin. It's a small city at the bottom of the South Island, and it went really well. It was an awesome premiere. Everybody loved it. The cinema was packed, but of course it was our friendliest audience because, you know, we're from there, we shot it there, half of the people in the audience were involved with it in some way, you know, so it's nice this time to see it with people who are not invested in it at all. So yeah, it did screen in New Zealand at one time and was well received.
Well, thank you for presenting it at Screamfest, and let's thank the filmmakers and cast of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust for being here with us.
thanks so much, guys. Thanks for staying and thanks for being part of the screening. We really appreciate it.